The Steamers in their road blues will go from right to left with Don Ebert and Ricky Davis up front. The midfielder, Daryl Duran, Dave Clemens' team coming off a tough loss at home against San Diego last weekend. It'll be Tony Bellinger and Sammy Bick on defense in front of Slobo, who has a goals against average of 3.03, the best in the league. Las Vegas has some guns up front. They will start with Fred Grigurev, a guy who has this year scored 12 goals. Tony Carbagnani, a big physical, tall striker up front as well. They'll be joined up there by Yoma Zorhan, a guy that the St. Louis fans are familiar with from years gone by, Espinoza, and a guy that's, I know, one of Bob Burnett's most feared and maybe favorite players in the league, a defender with a great shot, Helmut Dudek, number 2 back there, along with the goalkeeper Keith Van Aren. We know all about him. He played with Baltimore some last year, played against the Steamers some in the playoffs. He has a goals against of 6.45 and a 2-1 record. The player coach is Alan Mayer, who is on the bench, not starting tonight. He has played 6 games. Van Aren has played 3. We're underway with the Steamers moving from right to left. Don Ebert flips it back for Sammy Bick in the neutral area. Sammy shooting away. You'll see a lot of that tonight on this short field. In the corner, Carbagnani, Ebert, and Duran pile it up there. Darryl on airboard tried to switch it back to Ebert, and it's knocked out of there by Jorge Espinoza. Carbagnani, long ball up over 2 lines. Racing down is Dudek. Sammy Bick rifles it up into the stands. It'll be a kick in for Las Vegas. Las Vegas as we come back. It's a scoreless game with 4:05 left in the first quarter of play. Bob Carpenter and Bob Burnett glad to be with you from the Thomas and Mack Center in Las Vegas. Davis stealing, shooting, and a goal! Duncan McEwen. Ricky Davis, a tremendous steal on the left side. Bob, he just simply muscled his way in, played it off the boards, and Duncan had an easy bank in into the empty net. St. Louis 1-0.
That's the pressure we're talking about, and keep doing that. You know, they look very good back there when they can handle that ball with no one on them, but the minute you pressure them, they get a little excited. Of course, Ricky Davis is so quick. He gets in there, kept his balance, and just got a piece of it, and we had some follow-up in there, and that's a big goal and a big goal. First goal is a big one.
11 minutes, the time of the goal. Duncan McEwen for St. Louis, Duncan's 3rd of the year. Ricky Davis on the assist. That is Ricky's 3rd assist on the year, and boy, did he earn that one. He just leaned into that defender and played it. Dudek holding it there. Armando still with it. Boy, he's strong. Right side for Carl Rose. At the point. Hope you had a chance to catch our radio interview with Armando before the game tonight. Here's Duncan McEwen, left point. Duncan going to his left, shooting. Oh, it's a goal! Shoot! To the far board. It just snuck in there, and McEwen has 2 goals in a span of 42 seconds, and the Steamers lead it 2-0. How about that, Duncan McEwen?
Las Vegas giving us space, and that red line is so close. He's got to shoot quickly. Good duke to the left, and then he bang it off, and they were actually screened out. The keeper didn't see it. Have to do that because Las Vegas is going to do it. You're in there so quick. We just have to get used to it. We're shooting fine.
Boy, Duncan hit it beautifully back to the far post. It just caught the post and got in. And the Steamers with a 2-goal lead, shooting wide, rebound too far for Grigurev. Davis picks it up. Espinoza knocks it away from him. Out on top, Grigurev trying to center it. McEwen took it away. Look out, Carbagnani, a score! The ball came loose to Tony Carbagnani. He made no mistake to the far post, and the Americans are on the scoreboard here. 1:15 into the second quarter.
Bad break for the Steamers. They had it marked up. The ball came off, went to Carbagnani, and of course on this floor, he must have been about 8 or 9 feet out, and he hit it with the inside of his right foot. Slobo came out to cut the angle off, but it's in there tight. One time, if you get lost, get caught not being goal side, or you don't stay with your man, you ball watch on this floor, you can't recover because it's too narrow.
On the Vegas side of midfield, Bijakowski right side far, Martin Donnelly back to the goalkeeper, Keith Van Aren. Duran stealing, empty net, and a goal!
Yes, there it is.
Daryl Duran went after the goalkeeper, got it away, unassisted, St. Louis 3-1, and Daryl Duran a little bit of a smile as he took it away and made it a 2-goal game again.
That's what pressure will do for you. That's the 3rd goal as a result of pressure. Daryl didn't give up on it. He saw the keeper make a mistake trying to dribble him. He beat him to the ball. You know, he had a tough angle. Took his time. Beautiful. Left foot inside of the left foot. 3rd goal, big goal. Pressure. These guys get nervous. He miskicked. That's what happened to him. And Daryl, there it is, in the left-hand side.
Midfield. On the near side, Dudek racing down the left wing, shielding Betancourt off the ball, trying to center it, finally does, and they're going to get Armando for a pushing foul in the corner. That'll be 3 fouls against the Steamers in the period with 9:06 left. Las Vegas has been whistled down 2 times.
Same way, Bob. They may go outside again.
The man out there is Dudek with that big shot. Grigoriev, the trigger man. Betancourt is watching Dudek out of the corner of his eye. Now they played off the boards in front and a goal. Slobo couldn't reach it. Orhan was right there to knock it in as he beat Tony Bellinger to the ball. The Las Vegas Americans, Bob, have looked dangerous on those set pieces, and this time they made it pay off.
He played it off the board. We should have intercepted it before it came across the box. Tony had his man marked, but then he slipped inside of Tony. But when the ball is played off of the boards, we've got to intercept it. It can't go across the mouth of the goal. It's too difficult. You can't stay with your man because he knows where he's going to go and you don't. And that was the breakdown right there.
Yilmaz Orhan, his 7th goal of the year. Grigoriev, his 6th assist on that free kick at 5:57. So it's a 3 with it. Now he turns and centers. Popolius to the right of Slobo, tries to center. Carl Rose, I think, shoved him off the ball, and that will be a foul right on top of the penalty area. Julie V tried to take a quick restart. McEwen stepped in front of it. So Las Vegas will set it up. Only about 20 feet out in front of Slobo with a chance to tie. V out on top. Espinoza. Slobo, the save. Rebound and a goal. Carl Rose cleared it. It hit Popolius and went right into the net. An unlucky break for the Steamers.
That's being at the right spot at the right time. And Carl Rose, he did the right thing. A terrific shot. Slobo made an impossible save, didn't? Carl was just trying to clear it. Hit him right in the face, went in.
Well, that should be an unassisted goal at 9:04. We'll take a timeout. It's a 3-3 game, and from Las Vegas, this is St. Louis.
This past summer, a lot of people wondered just who was going to fill the void left behind by Petcher. Well, a lot of players have picked up that slack, but no one deserves more credit than Don Draghi, who, along with his family, is enjoying every minute of life as a Steamer.
Soccer or baseball or whatever, all I wanted to do was, you know, play a sport.
That Steamer defender Don Draghi should make such a statement is no surprise. As a youngster, this man was always kicking, hitting, or throwing a ball, and he had plenty of company. To form a team, Draghi had to look no further than his own family. Mother Tirza, like all moms, the perfect referee, and Father Bill, quite an athlete himself. Back in the late 1930s, he even played baseball in the Chicago Cub organization. But then there's the rest of the Draghi clan, 11 children in all, 7 boys, all graduates of CBC High School, and 4 girls. All actively involved in sports. Around St. Luke's Parish, the Draghi name quickly became associated with athletics. And though times have changed, Sister Jill kept that reputation alive last year when she completed the St. Louis Marathon. The 26-mile run was her first ever. Jill's older brother Don is doing his share as well.
Now left side, Draghi is shot, scores!
Don Draghi!
Don Draghi just stepped on, and the Steamers lead it 3-2.
Donald was always competitive. He always wanted to get a game going of some kind.
Oh, really?
Yeah, anything, no matter what it was, he was always right there to participate or get someone to play some kind of game. He was always wanting to try and beat somebody at something.
Our backyard, we had a all-black top and had a basketball court out there, and they kicked soccer and played hockey and basketball and soccer and everything else, and had most of the neighborhood kids come in, and we enjoyed having them there.
They'd lock us in there. They'd throw us all in the backyard and throw some balls out there, and at least they knew where we'd be for the rest of the afternoon.
I bought more windows than anybody in the city of St. Louis.
Breaking more than his share of those windows was the Steamers' number 14. But the journey from playing soccer in his backyard to playing for the Steamers has been a long and sometimes trying one for Don Draghi. After a stellar career at St. Louis University, he was drafted into pro soccer, and thus began a career that included 7 different teams in 7 years. 4 of those teams folded. Finally, after being released by the Chicago Sting last year, the 28-year-old Draghi returned to St. Louis, prepared to give up the game that had been his life. But as fate would have it, Steamer defender Steve Petcher went down for the season with a broken leg. And just 2 weeks after coming home, Draghi found himself in a Steamer uniform.
It was, you know, a great break for me to come back home after being with 7 teams in 7 years, and even though I've enjoyed playing and traveling, you know, to those 7 different cities and living there, I've always wanted to come back to St. Louis and live.
I'm a very proud father, and Don has played with so many NASL teams, and during most of the years that he's played, he's had to mark every great a striker in the business, and he's always done a great job. And I probably shouldn't be saying that. I'll probably be getting a kick here in a minute, but he's been a great defender, and I never did think he'd ever quit or would. I knew he's going to be signed by somebody.
That somebody turned out to be the St. Louis Steamers, a franchise as stable as any in professional soccer. And for the first time in his career, Don is experiencing the thrill of having the hometown fans cheer for him. Some are family members, some friends, but all are St. Louisans supporting one of their own.
This is my final stop, instead of along the way where St. Louis is one of the teams that I was with before. As I said, I've always wanted to come back home and live here. That was always my main priority, that I was going to come back to St. Louis and live because of the big family and friends that I did have around here. So I was happy that that St. Louis was the last team, hopefully, that I can say I was with.
Sure. For someone who has lived out of a suitcase for the past 7 years, this is now like a dream come true. Don Draghi is wearing the uniform of the St. Louis Steamers, but it wasn't that long ago that he returned home, ready to give up soccer. 7 teams in 7 years. The uncertainty, the insecurities. For Don Draghi, it has been a difficult journey, but at long last, it seems, the Steamers' number 14 has found a home as a soccer player. A home that includes family and friends. A home where it all began, right here in St. Louis. Now let's go to Bob Carpenter and get an update on tonight's game. Bob?
Well, Jimmy, it's been a very interesting first half with the Steamers breaking out on top early. Let's have a look at some of the first half highlights to indicate to you how the Steamers got off to a good start. It started with Ricky Davis, a great individual effort here as he shoved Espinoza off the ball after his steal. Easy goal for Duncan McEwen. 11 minutes of the first quarter, 1-0. Then Duncan quickly to his left, and watch how he clips the ball through the legs of the defender back to the far post. It catches the post and gets in. 42 seconds later, the Steamers had a 2-0 lead. As we went to the second quarter of play, St. Louis was still dominating, but Tony Carbagnani got a goal here. This will be St. Louis's third goal here as Daryl Duran took the ball away from Keith Van Aaron, who completely misplayed it along the board. Just goes to prove that not every goalkeeper in the league can play like Slobo does. Duran got his third of the year unassisted. At that point, the Steamers led by a score of 3-1, and then late goals by former Steamer Yoma Zorhan from Fred Gagurov, and then Papolias from Carbagnani. It's 3-3 at the half. I think a very interesting second half coming up. Steamers have to keep up the pressure. That'll do it here from halftime in Las Vegas, Jim.
Okay, Bob, thanks a lot. That's going to do it for Sports Break this evening. Now stay tuned for a lot more Steamers action. Thanks for watching.
Bellinger takes it away there from Julie V. Left side, Ricky Davis controlling the bouncing ball. Has Redmond Lane in front. Ricky left side, one-on-one to his left. Centers it across and a goal!
That a ball.
Tony Bellinger. And what an assist by Ricky Davis. His second classic assist of the evening, Coach Burnett.
Ricky stayed with the ball. Fake right, then went left. But Bellinger on the right side anticipated. Ricky cut it across as you should. Hard and on the ground. Bellinger right there, left unmarked. Great goal.
Steamers 4-3, 9:33, third quarter. Caught. Here's Duran back the other way. 2 seconds left. Right side headed away by Vijakovsky. Watch for the man coming out of the box. That is Orhan. Right there on Daryl Duran. Left side, Walters in on goal. Score!
Boy, what a...
Timmy Walters, what a shot. And what a pass by Daryl Duran. It's not a power play, but who cares?
Now that's when you read it, Bob. That's when you read the play. Daryl Duran saw Timmy Walters breaking from the left side in the crease. He put the ball right there, but was Timmy one time, bang, right foot, just put it away.
What a goal by Walters. What an assist by Duran. It's a 2-goal lead, and from Las Vegas, this is St. Louis Steamers Soccer. To the red line of St. Louis with 9 seconds remaining. Julie V for Vijakovsky, who walks in. Duran got a piece of it. Dudek misfires. Slobo high in the air to pull it down. That'll do it. 3 seconds remaining. He tried to score a goal, but the game is over anyway. Slobo says, we got the win. I want a goal. And the Steamers win it by a score of 5-3. Well, a good effort by St. Louis tonight. We'll be back with a wrap-up in a moment and our post-game segment coming up. Steamers win it 5-3. They're now 7-3 on the year. And from Las Vegas, this is St. Louis Steamers Soccer. Welcome back to the Thomas and Mack Center in Las Vegas, Nevada. Bob Carpenter along with Bob Burnett as we wrap up another victory for the Steamers. This time 5-3 on the road against the Las Vegas Americans. St. Louis improves to a record of 7-3 on the year with the victory here tonight. So the Steamers have now won 2 straight on the road, and they are 3-2 overall on the road this year, 4-1 at the arena. So they've got a winning record both at home and on the road, and that's good news because Steamers had some problems winning on the road last year. So just a real good effort by the guys. And you saw toward the end of the game what a big factor that 6-foul penalty becomes as it kind of takes teams out of a chance to come back coming from behind. Let's take a look now at some of the highlights in the second half. All the scoring in the second half took place in the third quarter. At the 5:27 mark, what a great play by Ricky Davis. He goes down deep. Tony Bellinger right there to whack it in. You see Redmond Lane was also in position in front. That was the big one that opened up a 4-3, well, actually a 4-2 lead. And then now 4-3 it was because it was 3-3 at halftime. And look at Timmy Walters bury this one as he goes down the right side and got a pass from Daryl Duran into the right corner of the net. That closed out the scoring at 13-16 in the third quarter, and the Steamers fought off a penalty on 6 fouls in the fourth quarter of play. Las Vegas called a timeout with 1:43 left, and then they got hit with a couple of penalties on an intentional handball by goalkeeper Martin Donnelly, who was in replacing Keith Von Aaron, and then a 6-foul penalty with only 21 seconds left in the game. We'll return for a final word in a moment on our play-by-play portion from Las Vegas, where the Steamers won it by 2 on the road tonight. This is St. Louis Steamers Soccer.